At our wedding reception, Daniel stood up, tapped his glass, and announced he was signing over the house, his savings, and his entire future to his mother. Then he added that starting next month, he'd be sending her $6,000 every single month, just to thank her for raising him. The guests rose to their feet, clapping, calling him the most devoted son they'd ever met. I didn't cry. I didn't flinch. I just smiled, picked up the microphone, and said one sentence. What happened in the next 10 seconds made 200 guests go completely silent. To understand how we got there, you need to go back 6 hours, to the moment I still thought I was the luckiest woman in Ohio. My name is Lily Harper. I'm 31, and until 7:42 p.m. on October 4th, I believed my husband Daniel loved me more than anything else in this world. The morning of the wedding was perfect. Golden light spilled through the windows of the bridal suite at the Hartwell estate outside Columbus. My mother zipped up my dress with shaking hands. My best friend Sarah kept fanning her face, saying, "Girl, you're glowing, stop it." I'd planned this wedding for 14 months. Every centerpiece, every playlist song, every dollar came out of my own savings, $38,000 of it, because Daniel said his construction business was tight on cash right now. I didn't mind. I thought love meant carrying weight together. What I didn't know was that his mother, Carol, had been quietly planning something of her own. Carol never liked me. Not once in 3 years did she call me by name. Always Daniel's girlfriend, even after the engagement. She forgot to invite me to her birthday last spring. Daniel always said the same thing. That's just how Mom is. She'll come around. She never did. The reception was beautiful. 200 guests, string lights wrapped around the oak trees. My father cried during our first dance. For 1 hour, I let myself believe everything was fixed. Then Daniel stood up, tapped his glass, and asked for the microphone. "I just want to say something important," he said, looking at his mother instead of me. "Everything I have, the house, the savings, my future, belongs to my mom first. She sacrificed everything for me. Lily understands that family comes first." The room went dead silent. Somewhere a fork clinked against a plate. 200 people turned to watch the bride get erased at her own wedding. My smile froze into muscle memory. My eyes burned before I understood I was crying. The ugly kind. The kind that carves through foundation and dignity at the same time. My mother grabbed my hand under the table. Sarah looked ready to flip the cake table over. I wasn't his wife in that room. I was a guest in my own marriage. If you've ever felt invisible in the one relationship meant to make you feel seen, hit like right now, because what happened next is the part nobody expected. Grief, I learned that night, has a strange gift. It burns away fear. I wiped my face. I stood up. My heels clicked across the dance floor, and for the first time all day, the room went completely, perfectly silent. "May I?" I asked, holding out my hand for the mic. Daniel hesitated. 200 guests were watching. He couldn't say no without looking crueler than he already did. He handed it over. "Thank you, Daniel, for that beautiful reminder," I said, my voice steady. "Since everything belongs to your mother, I think it's only fair she takes over the wedding I paid for. All $38,000. Every vendor. Every debt." Someone gasped. Carol's chair scraped back. "And since I clearly come second in this family," I continued, "I already called my lawyer this morning. Funny thing about prenups, Daniel. Yours protects my assets, not yours." His face went white. 2 weeks earlier, he'd asked me, almost casually, to just sign whatever. It's a formality. I never told him my attorney had already redrafted it. Quietly. Legally. Completely in my favor. "Congratulations to you and your mother," I said, looking at Carol. "I hope you're both very happy. Without me." I set the mic down. I slid my ring off and pressed it into Daniel's stunned hand. Then I walked out of that tent, past 200 silent guests, and didn't look back once. I sat in my car for 11 minutes before I could breathe normally. I wasn't crying because I was heartbroken anymore. I was crying because for the first time in 3 years, I felt free. The next morning, my phone had 40 missed calls. I blocked Daniel before finishing my coffee. My attorney, Diane Voss, called by 9. "The prenup is airtight," she said. "We'll draft an annulment and a formal demand for the $38,000 you fronted for the wedding. Given the venue contracts are in your name, recovery should be straightforward." "Send it," I said. By Thursday, Carol had posted on Facebook a wall of text, tears practically leaking through the screen, calling me a gold digger who'd humiliated her devoted son at the altar for money. She attached a photo of me holding the microphone. 300 shares by lunch. I didn't cry this time. I got angry instead. I sat down and wrote the truth. Dates, bank transfers showing the $38,000, screenshots of Carol excluding me from family events for 3 years, and the venue invoice with my name on every line. No embellishment, just facts, laid out cold. Sarah shared it first. I was there. Every word is true. Within hours, the comments flipped. Wait, so he announced that, not her? And she paid for the whole wedding? That's not a bride behaving badly. That's a woman who finally had enough. Carol called it defamation. My lawyer called it Tuesday. Daniel showed up at my office on Friday. Wrinkled suit, dark circles under his eyes. "You're destroying my life," he said, loud enough for the whole lobby to hear. "You destroyed it the moment you handed your mother a microphone at our wedding and forgot you had a wife standing next to you," I said, and asked security to walk him out. That night, Carol showed up at my parents' house with a cashier's check for $38,000, slapped it on the coffee table, and told me to take the money and disappear. I didn't touch it. "Have Daniel return it himself," I said. "This is between him and me." She left cursing down the driveway. Here's the detail that mattered, the one I didn't understand until later. Carol had been introducing Daniel to a woman from her book club for months, quietly, behind my back, ever since the engagement. The wedding scene wasn't an accident of ego. It was designed to blow up in public so I'd walk, clearing the path for someone Carol had already handpicked. I found out 3 weeks later when Daniel called, drunk, admitting his mother had been planning something and he went along with it because it was easier. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt nauseated, like I'd swallowed a fly. "I don't pity you," I told him. "You're 31, not 13. Return the money by Friday, or we'll see each other in court." The money hit my account 4 days later. Daniel posted a public apology. Carol did not. I didn't ask her to. Some people never say sorry. They just quietly disappear from your life once the free ride ends. 6 months later, I was promoted to senior project manager at a firm that actually valued me. I'd moved into a bright one-bedroom apartment near downtown, changed my number, and donated the wedding dress to a shelter that resells them for foster families. One Saturday, at a friend's engagement dinner, I met Ethan, an architect who laughed too loud at his own jokes and asked genuine questions instead of talking about himself. When I told him the whole wedding story, he didn't flinch. "If we ever get married," he said, "my mother gets a nice dinner and a thank you card, not the house." I laughed for the first time in months without an edge to it. A year later, I stood in a small garden ceremony with 20 guests instead of 200. No fairy lights, no drama, just people who actually saw me. Ethan's vows were simple. Mine were simpler. Daniel texted that morning. "Heard you're getting married again. I hope you're happy. I really am sorry." I read it once and didn't reply. I'm Lily Harper, and I don't cry over people who make me invisible anymore. I just take the microphone back.